From bodybuilder mice to Hulk pigs, people do bodybuilding for self-expression. Animals don't feel the need to express themselves. However, there are many bodybuilders among animals, believe it or not. Some are natural-born creatures of muscle. Others develop their bodies while they grow up. There's also a third type. As you may know, humans mess with genetics all the time, and it's not necessarily a good thing. So either way, you're watching Infinity, and this is 10 most muscular animals of the world. Bodybuilder mice. Thanks to people, there are now animals out there that look like they devote their lives to bodybuilding. You can say thanks to Johns Hopkins University professor of molecular biology and genetics, Chin Lee, for that. We're not gonna dwell deep into what it is that this man did exactly, because it's all scientific mumbo jumbo, but the result of those vicious experiments came in a form of some crazy genetic mutation. Simply put, animals got real buff. Even Chin Lee himself almost freaked out after he realized the consequences of his doings. According to experts, these experiments will soon help people deal with muscular dystrophy. This might also be helpful for those lazy type bodybuilders who don't want to work out too much to gain visible results. Researchers hope that they'll be able to help all people this way. They don't want to make them look like bodybuilders. All they want is help them keep their bones intact. At least that's what Chin Lee says. Whether it's true or not, we don't know. Kangaroo, Roger and Monty. One of the most popular bodybuilders among animals is the red kangaroo by the name Roger. This guy got popular back in 2015. There are photos of him smashing a galvanized bucket. Roger was about 2 meters high and weighed 90 kilos. And he's kinda buff. He had powerful chest and strong arms. He spent all his life in Alice Springs. He was found in his mama's bag after a car accident. He used to live in the territory with 50 other kangaroos. Roger always had enough food, and he was the type that liked to fight a lot, so that helped him acquire that impressive physique. Ultimately, he had to become a very dangerous type of guy that nobody wanted to mess around with. Roger died naturally in December of 2018 at the tender age of 12. Roger had a son, Monty, who became the next big guy after his father. Although soon he got even bigger and wider. Over 2 meters high and about 100 kilos of weight. Monty lives in the same park and, like his father, he's quite aggressive. And he sometimes attacks the visitors. So he's just like his dad. He's basically his little replica. Hulk pigs from Cambodia. There's a company in Cambodia called Jurok. It breeds the type of piggies that look like Hulks. If you look at their Facebook page, you will see a lot of photos of these massive guys, and they don't exactly look like those cute pink little piggies you normally see on a classic farm. And looking at these footages, it feels like it's kinda hard for them to even move around. It's because they are so big. A lot of people blame Jurok Cambodia for using too many hormones that make the pigs look like monsters basically. Farmers do that because people like pork. Both Cambodians and Chinese like eating pork a lot. Those countries are the biggest meat markets in the world, and the fact of the matter is that each of these mutants bring much more meat than a usual type of pig. Stay with us guys, because up ahead we have some real massive animals. We'll show you the buff cat, enormous American bully that looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and some more natural grown big animals. So stay tuned. Belgian Blue Bull. Belgian blue bulls look like they spend most of their lives in the gym, rather than in a quiet green field eating grass and doing whatever bulls normally do. Seriously, these look like they are on steroids, but it seems like it all boils down to genetics and many years of selective breeding. As you may have guessed, this type of cattle appeared in Belgium. The main goal was to get more meat and more fat milk. Thanks to the selective process, their muscles got way bigger, at least 2 times more massive. And so this way geneticists have created a real wildlife Schwarzenegger. But despite the fact that these guys look big and strong and scary, they are actually peaceful. And apparently the best thing about them is that they are very tasty. There's very little fat in their meat. If you're struggling trying to figure out their size, let me just tell you that they are normally 1.5 meters high, and they sometimes weighed 1,200 to 1,400 kilos. And what's quite insane is that most of that mass is muscle. Belgian horse. It seems like Belgians like big things. Apart from bulls, they also have some big-ass horses. They call them Belgian horses. This kind of horse was very popular during Middle Ages. They would normally carry knights with heavy armor. A usual type of horse could never pick up a knight wearing all his gear, but for a Belgian horse, it wasn't a difficult task. Modern-day Belgian horses are perhaps even mightier than their predecessors. They are 168 to 173 centimeters high and usually weigh about 900 kilos. They have incredibly massive shoulders, brawny torso, and short but very strong legs. These guys are very calm and they're not very picky about what they eat. They are highly praised in Belgium, and people seem to love them very, very much. Well, can't blame them, they're such cuties. American Bully. American Bully is a real monster of a dog. They appeared in the 80s. They're a crossbreed between American Staffordshire Terriers and Pit Bulls. You just look at them, pretty crazy, right? I mean, those are some truly incredible muscles right there. It's strange how some owners feel like those muscles are not enough and they give their pets steroids to make them look even bigger. Even though vets warn people that it's a really bad idea because a hormonal imbalance is a real dangerous thing and it's not to be messed with. It's a lot better to have a healthy dog rather than a really big and sick one. They might look menacing, but they are actually very peaceful and are not aggressive at all. They are awesome guards, by the way. They don't play. If there are intruders around with bad intentions, they always get wagged by bullies. After all, those muscles and teeth is a very dangerous weapon indeed. I mean, just by looking at them, you can tell. Hercules and Tiango. Scientists from Guangzhou also came up with some very strong type of dog. In 2015, they showed the world two big dogs whose names are Hercules and Tango. They are both beagles, the type of dog considered as a small hound. Well, as you can see, these are not particularly small. These were especially selected from 27 pups, the embryos of which were genetically modified. They used a special kind of technology that allowed scientists to sort of turn off the genes responsible for producing myostatin, a kind of muscle growth blocker protein. So what they did is a kind of trick they performed with the Belgian Blue. In case of super cows, however, it took them quite a few years. But with these doggies, things were different. They managed to make them look like that almost instantly by editing the genome. You can see how radically different they look. That's quite impressive, isn't it? And that's not even the limit. Chinese have more plans on making some even bigger GMO dogs, especially for police forces, rapid response services, and border troops. Beagles are kind of small for that. Large pit bulls, however, will suffice for those purposes. Big Wendy. Check out Big Wendy, you guys, the muscular whippet from the Canadian city of Victoria. For a very long time now, this dog has been regarded as one of the buffest dogs ever. And what's quite remarkable is that Wendy is all natural. She got popular in 2007 when journalists wrote a piece about it. You can see for yourself that it does look really quite remarkable, especially for a whippet. These dogs are usually quite slim. Wendy's weight revolved around 28 kilos, which is 2 times more than the norm. She had some really big neck, massive shoulders, and thighs. What's more, Wendy had 24-pack instead of a normal 6-pack. Even though Wendy looks quite frightening, her owner Ingrid Hansen said that there was nothing for her dog like sitting on her lap. Dog breeders and vets all thought that Wendy won't be able to live a long, normal life, but it all turned out fine. Wendy died in 2017 at the age of 14. The Buff Cat. This pal appeared online in 2018, and it just happened to live in the same area where Wendy was born. Not from Victoria, but from Quebec. It also looked really big, especially for a cat. We can clearly see that it's not just some fat cat, which there are loads, but it's actually very buff. Some women posted its pictures online, and Ever since then, it got really popular. There are a lot of memes with this guy, although we don't know much about him. Some say that whatever happened, it was most likely the same thing that happened to Wendy. Vets, however, don't recall anything like this ever happened to any cat. That's all for now, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching this content. Don't forget to hit the like button if you liked the video, and smash the bell to stay tuned for upcoming episodes. Also check out our other videos, subscribe to Infinity, and we'll see you next time.